Matt-Gaetz, who's been a big supporter of President Trump's. Take a listen.
Make no mistake, the left in America has incited far more political violence than the right. For months, our cities burned, police stations burned, our businesses were shattered, and they said nothing. Or they cheerled for it, and they fundraised for it, and they allowed it to happen in the greatest country in the world. Now, some have cited the metaphor that the president lit the flame. Well, they lit actual flames, actual fires, and we put them out.
Expired. There will be order in the House.
That was one of the big moments from yesterday. If you watch this whole thing play out, Emerald, did anything that Congressman Gaetz just say strike you as untrue?
No. I mean, we saw Republican congressman after congressman take the podium there and highlight the hypocrisy of Democrats who use very charged rhetoric in voicing their support for the protests and the subsequent rioting and looting that happened over the summer. In fact, I thought it was kind of funny. Representative Louis Gohmert actually quoted verbatim the words of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. And it punked a lot of my fellow journalists in that they just took them as Louis Gohmert's words and didn't realize he was actually directly quoting the House Speaker. And they were going after him and just, ridiculing him and criticizing him for using such charged rhetoric. So that just shows also the hypocrisy in the media coverage. Now, I do want to say something to what you said at the open of the segment, that you're surprised we're doing this for a second time. I'm really not, because since the last impeachment failed, we've heard Democrat after Democrat talk about impeaching the president again. The problem is that the public sentiment is just not there for it. They're tired of it. They want to move on, and they want to deal with the COVID crisis and possibly get those $2,000 stimulus checks.
Yeah, Nan, I want you to jump in. I think it's interesting because Nancy Pelosi has had this personal vendetta against Donald J. Trump since the day he took the oath of office and placed his hand on the Bible in January of 2017. So this predates what happened 13 months ago. And Nancy, she got her little victory yesterday. But do you think this will make its way to the Senate and actually happen after January 20th?
Rob, it's a Pyrrhic victory at best, and I agree with you that this has been this is an extension of what's been going on ever since 2017, actually 2016. It sounds as though the logistics of getting this extraordinarily rushed impeachment decision to the Senate for a trial. It sounds as though those logistics just aren't there. And Alan Dershowitz, of course, has been on Newsmax speaking about those technicalities. But after President Trump has left office, which realistically that trial would have to be, the constitutional provisions for impeachment for a president no longer apply. He's no longer in office. So if this is pursued beyond that point, that would be easily, I think, defensible to say, look, you can't do this. But it is just an overtly political process, Rob. This isn't about a president leaving office or being ejected from office. This is about kicking every Trump supporter in the country and letting them know who's boss.
Amir,
and the Democrats are going to find out that they're not the boss.
Yeah, Amir, the Senate is out of session until the 19th, day before the inauguration. They'll make their way back to Washington for that ceremony. What's the precedent here? Can a president of the United States be impeached by the Senate after he leaves office? I know that the constitutionality of that is tricky.
Yeah, well, there's no precedent for a president. There have been two other cases in U.S. history where there has been what's known as a late impeachment. That's a trial that's taken place after the impeached individual has left office. And the first one had to do with Senator Blount, who's a senator back in the late 1800s, almost 1799, I think. And the Senate ultimately tried him, but he was acquitted. And the Senate, in that case, actually voted, and one of the bases for the acquittal was that they did not have jurisdiction because he was no longer in office.
Yeah.
100 years later, 80 years later, there was a separate case with the Secretary of War under President Grant, in a similar situation. This individual did some misdeeds, knew he was going to get impeached, and he resigned in order to try to avoid impeachment. They still impeached him. They tried him. They also acquitted him. And in that case, the Senate voted that they did have jurisdiction. I mean, there's two different situations. It's never applied to a president. But one, we can draw from this that elected officials, the Senate has determined that there is no jurisdiction for late impeachments. And also, if you resign to try to avoid the process, they might determine that they have jurisdiction. But neither of those two situations apply here.
Yeah, it's also, does Joe Biden want to spend his first few weeks or first 100 days in office worrying about Donald Trump? Emerald, I'll tell you what, and this is not a popular opinion, but I swear the left and the media, they are going to miss Donald Trump after January the 20th.
What are they going to talk about?
What are we? I know what we're going to talk about. What are they going to talk about? They're going to miss this guy.
And I'll tell you, they had these conversations offline at the White House, and we're all sitting there is, you know, they realize they sort of have a Donald Trump problem and that there's somewhat a love-hate addictive relationship. In fact, I had one journalist tell me he's not even sure if he knows how to do his job anymore without Donald Trump. He's like, I'd actually have to go out, you know, beat the pavement and find something. And right now, all I'm doing is reacting.
Right. Emerald, I know you had a very busy day yesterday. I want to bring this up quickly. You guys are coming back right after the break. But yesterday, I wanted you on the panel so badly because Jim Acosta, CNN made a big announcement saying Jim Acosta is no longer going to be at the White House. He's going to be doing some other stuff domestically and whatever. But do you think he will be missed? I mean, I don't think he'll have anything to ask Joe Biden that's hard, except for what flavor ice cream
he had already said that he wasn't going to cover Joe Biden in the same way that he covered Donald Trump.
Right.
He'd already been explicit about the fact that he wouldn't be as hard on Joe Biden. But I did see Jim. I congratulated him. And he, you know, I'm not sure how he feels about it.
Yeah, very interesting. Guys, we got to leave it there. You're going to be back with us in just a moment. Emerald Robinson, Nam Hayworth, and Amir Benno. Stick around. We'll check in with you guys in just a few moments. Coming up a little bit later on the show this morning, Trump 2020 senior advisor Jason Miller is going to be joining us, talking about what's ahead for President Donald Trump over the next 6 days and beyond. You don't want to miss this interview. You're watching Wake Up America live on Newsmax. And Paul Pierce didn't work out, but
listen to what Donald Trump said. This is not inciting a riot.
I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard.
Peacefully, patriotically, make your voices heard. Now,